We started the season 10 weeks ago here at Lad Peoples, and tonight we return to wrap up the season. And boy, do we have a good one tonight. Williamson and Vigor, the Lions, enter the game looking to make the playoffs for the third time under Coach Dedrick Sumter. And across the field, the Wolves are hungry for a win after suffering their first loss last week. Can Williamson feast on the Wolves, or will the Wolfpack get back on track and defeat the mighty Lions? We'll find out next. Week 11 action is headed your way with the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Al Whedon along with Corey LeBounty. Down on the sidelines, we have Kimberly Dunn. And Corey, what a year we have had.
Al, it's hard to imagine that just 3 months ago we were here at Media Day talking about the upcoming 2018 season, and now we're in the last regular season game of the season. You have to be very excited about these two teams we're going to see tonight because both have an opportunity to go into postseason play. You look at all the injuries that the Williamson Lions have had throughout this season.
Correct.
Moving down in classification to 4A football. On the other hand, the Vigor Wolves, they come in and win the region championship for the third consecutive year. And they have a great group of seniors who have been together for a very long time. So tonight we're in store for some exciting high school football action in our last regular season game.
And who knows, Corey, we've had back-to-back overtime games, so who knows what could happen tonight here at Ladd. Let's get to your checklist. Williamson is the home team. What do you have on your checklist for the Lions?
Williamson, they don't need to beat themselves. What do I mean by that? A lot of penalty flags, the color of their uniform sometimes come out, and they want to keep those flags away from the ground tonight. Tim Porter and his crew want to make sure they keep those in their pocket if you're the Williamson Lions coaching staff. They need to make sure they move the sticks for momentum. What do I mean by that? They need to make sure they get first downs to give their defense an opportunity to rest. And where they have a lot of guys playing both sides of the football, if you're able to sustain those drives and move the sticks, you'll do so with a little momentum.
Okay.
Also, they have to play with confidence. If they get scored on early or if they have a turnover or something doesn't go their way, they need to just shake that off and just continue to play the next play with a bunch of confidence.
Now on the flip side, Vigor is the visiting team tonight. What's on your checklist for the Wolfpack?
Vigor definitely wants to control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football. They have an enormous offensive line and an even better defensive line. We'll talk about that tremendous defense that Vigor has a little later on in the broadcast. But again, in the trenches tonight, if they're able to handle the Williamson Lions, great things will happen. Eliminate the mental miscues. They don't want to beat themselves. If they're able to do that, Coach wants them to play a clean game to prepare themselves for the playoffs because they know those costly penalties. If you have a touchdown and it's called back for holding or you have an explosive play, that can come back to haunt you down the line. And they want to stay healthy going into the first round of the playoffs. You look at these Vigor Wolves, the seeding has already been established. They will host Central Tuscaloosa next week at Pritchard Stadium, so they want to make sure that they stay healthy tonight and don't have any injuries.
All right, Corey, we appreciate that. Let's take it down to the field, get an idea of what's going on with the atmosphere down there. Let's check in with Kimberly Dunn.
Yes, everyone is so excited here tonight, and they are feeling good because the weather could not be better. This is the perfect fall weather that really gets you in the mood for some football, and both of these teams are not only enjoying the weather, but they're enjoying another night of some wonderful football. And both of these coaches only had positive things to say about the other teams, and so they really respect one another. And with that being said, they know that they're going to both have to fight to pull out a win tonight, so we will see who comes away with the win.
We'll be checking back in with you later on, Kimberly. We appreciate that. We know Williamson has a lot at stake tonight, Corey. They are in 4A, and right now, if we can, let's take a look at the 4A standings. If you like to say this one can, boy, really be a head-scratcher right here. We know two teams are in with UMS Wright and Hillcrest, but right now, there's a three-way tie. So you have three teams trying to lock down two spots between Williamson, Escambia County, and Andalusia.
You definitely know UMS Wright is the #1 seed and Hillcrest Evergreen the #2 seed. If all three lose this week and each team is defeated in non-region play loses, then Andalusia would emerge as the #3 by tiebreaker with 4 wins. Williamson would then be the #4 by tiebreaker with its region win over Escambia County. There's a lot of football left have to be played here in this situation. Again, we know that the Williamson Lions are in the playoffs. It just depends on whether they're a 3 seed or a 4 seed at this point in time. And when you look at what Coach Sumter's been able to accomplish with the numbers that he has in 4A football, he came into the preseason media days saying that he felt that 4A was more suited to his numbers because 5A, it was just too large. Even here in 4A, though, he has a lot of guys playing both ways.
Great shot right there, the RSA Tower, downtown Mobile. Beautiful night for football here at Ladd Stadium. Temperature is a nice, crisp football degree, if you want to call it. I think temperature is probably in the 50s right there in front of you. 56 degrees, a clear sky, 73% humidity, no chance of rain. Boy, did we go through that yesterday, and thank the Lord it is gone. Winds out of the northwest at 4 miles per hour. So it's pretty much a perfect night for fall football, Corey.
I agree 100%, and it really feels like fall football weather. Again, around this Gulf Coast area, it probably tomorrow will be close to 80 degrees. But if you don't like the weather, just stick around Mobile, Alabama for 24 hours, and it'll change on you.
Williamson won the toss, but they declined to the second half, so Vigor is going to receive this kick. Back to receive Artel Howell and James Jackson, and we are underway with the Wolfpack on the move. Getting started right there with the return, Ronald Cooper. Great field position ball at the 41-yard line. Let's take a look at the Vigor Wolves offense right there. Senior quarterback Kyle Walker, very senior, heavy laden squad here for the Wolves. Jalen Whitsett, the big running back for them. Also keep your eyes out for Jackson, Artel, and Williams. They do like to pass the ball across the front. That Vigor offensive line averaging 277 pounds, so it's some big guys right there pushing in the front for the Vigor Wolves. It's 1st and 10, ball on their own 46-yard line, and they're almost at the midfield stripe. Little quick toss right there to Howell. I'm sorry, that to Jalen Whitsett. Incomplete. It'll take Vigor to second down. Here's a look at the Williamson defense. They're playing a 3-4 tonight. They're missing their guy, Robert Woodyard, the freshman, dynamic guy, normally plays linebacker. He won't be in the lineup tonight, so they're going to move Jeremiah Hickbottom over to inside linebacker. The defensive line for Williamson averaging 200 pounds. Keep your eye out for Antoine Thomas, has over 50 tackles for the Williamson Lions. He's going to be everywhere, number 6, offense and defense for the Lions. Second down for Vigor. And Walker's just going to scramble, gets past the midfield stripe, picks up maybe 6 or 7 on that carry.
Good job by Jeremiah Hickbottom, the linebacker. He has 8 tackles from his linebacker position, 52 solo tackles from his defensive end position that he played earlier. When that injury was sustained to Woodyard, Woodyard played the linebacker position, and now he's filling. You'll see Hickbottom play all over the field for the Williamson Lions. Great tackle by him.
Third down and about 2 or 3 here for the Vigor Wolves as they have inched into Williamson territory just past the midfield stripe. We're underway here at Ladd People Stadium. And that ball intended for Jackson out there, the receiver, James Jackson, incomplete. So it is 4th down for the Vigor Wolves.
And you go back to that first down play, the swing pass out of the backfield that was incomplete, that was intended for Jalen Whitsett. That's one of those downs that you want to convert on first in early situations for the Vigor Wolves. Going 3 and out right here, having to put the ball on the foot. Let's see what kind of return Williamson can set up.
DeAnthony Walker back to punt for the Wolves. And JaQuinton Shaw setting up at his 15-yard line to retrieve this punt. It's going to drop in front of him, so he's just going to let that one roll out, and Vigor will down it. And a great way to flip the field right there, pinning Williamson back at about their 5 or 6 yard line. So let's take a look at the Williamson offensive starters for tonight. Braylon Franks normally gets to start the quarterback position, but not tonight. He's going to be playing wide receiver, so Cedric Andrews is going to step up. Keep your eyes out on JaQuinton Shaw, the halfback. He does a lot for them. They are missing Robert Woodyard. We talked about that. He played both sides of the ball. Dynamic freshman with great numbers, but won't make the game tonight. Across that front offensive line, 222 pounds they average. They're a 4A school, Corey, but they got a lot of meat on that bone, buddy.
Here's the thing. Kenneth Sewell is the new center taking over, and last week they had quarterback to center problems, which led to a safety in the end zone. So it's going to be important to watch that tonight as Kenneth Sewell will be snapping the ball to Cedric Andrews. Not only that, look for this big Vigor defensive line to continue to get great push and try to dominate at the line of scrimmage.
So we have an early timeout right now taken by Williamson. So maybe Coach Sumter doesn't have things together. We're going to take a break and take a look at the Vigor Wolves defense when they come back on the field for first down. What can you say about this defense? Wow, they are unbelievable, only giving up 6.8 points per game. It's all seniors except for Sidney Williams, the lone junior on this crew. They play a 4-3, and Corey, they are rough and tough, and they get after the ball when they're on the field.
Defensive coordinator Kendall Goodwin leads this Wolfpack defense. Last year they gave up 14.2 points per game. This year, as you mentioned, only giving up 6.8. 23 points last week. This defense gave up to Opelika, whereas the previous 4 weeks, they had only given up 23 total points in 4 games. So Coach Goodwin and them went back to the drawing board and said, let's get back to what we do well, continue to apply pressure defensively, and let's see. They've only allowed 8 total touchdowns on the season.
And when we say stingy, we mean it. It is a stingy defense on that 4-3, averaging 250 pounds across that front. We'll be calling DeAnthony Walker, Lewis, Austin, and Little a lot tonight. On the move, Andrews rolling out, and he picks up a couple. Not a horse collar there. He's still in bounds. The clock will run. So nice run. First down for the Williamson Lions. They had to burn a timeout, but they pick up maybe 6 or 7 on the carry.
Positive yardage on first down. That's what's important. Eric E.J. Thomas on the tackle for the Wolfpack. The 6', 250-pound senior makes his 36th solo tackle.
So it looks like it's going to be 2nd and 4 here for the Lions. They're going to credit Andrews with about a 6-yard run. Quentin Shaw lined up in the backfield. He takes the carry, and that goes nowhere. It'll set up Williamson 3rd down and 4 right now.
Good stop again. Another great tackle by Eric Thomas coming from his linebacker position. And it's going to be a critical down right here for the Williamson Lions, bringing up probably 3rd down and maybe 2.5. We'll call it 3 yards to go. So the Williamson Lions, let's see if they can get the type of push that they want to offensively. They really like to have a screen situation because you don't want to run into the heart of this Wolfpack defense. You want to try to bounce it to the outside and get it to the perimeter as much as you can.
So they do give Shaw credit with 1 yard. Empty back set. Trips at the bottom and a stack at the top, spreading it out. Andrews has a man but cannot connect, tries to get that ball out to Quentin Shaw, overthrows him, and that'll take Williamson to 4th down.
And that's where flipping the field comes into effect for you, Al. You mentioned just moments ago, now the returners from Vigor will have some prime real estate to deal with. You have Artel Howell, who's going to be the deep man for the Wolfpack.
Back to punt for Williamson, right at the goal line, maybe at the half-yard line, is Jacob Hatch. Doesn't want this one to go over his head, so very important right now for the long snapper to get this to Hatch. Some movement on the line. Flag comes out. Let's see if this is offsides or was Vigor drawn off. And it looks like the sign is going to be offsides. If that's what it is, Corey, that's going to be a 1st down for Williamson.
That's one of those mental miscues that I was talking about on my checklist that Vigor does not need to have and does not want to have. Coach Scott said they need to play clean on that 4th down situation. Only 3 yards to go. You jump off sides, give them a free 5 yards, advance the sticks. Now the Williamson Lions get another set of downs off of a mental miscue.
I'll look at Tim Porter right there giving us the call for offsides. The rest of the officials, DeMarco Murphy, Mike Hunt, Jack Golf, Lyman Collins, Michael Grimes, and Russell Connolly. They'll be handling the officiating duties tonight. So now it's 1st down and 10 for the Williamson Lions. Empty back set once again. There's more movement on the line of scrimmage.
And you can see how anxious the Vigor Wolves are. But again, you cannot do that in back-to-back plays. You just have to watch the football, keep your eyes disciplined, not go on the inflection of the voice and have to watch the football.
That is another free 5 right there for the Williamson Lions. So now it's 1st and 5. They picked up 10 yards here, Corey. That's, in essence, that has been the offense for them this game.
And sometimes that's all you need. Now you're in a 1st and 5 situation, which is great free short yardage. That
ball intended for Quentin Shaw, but overthrown, and that is intercepted brought down by Sidney Williams. Talked about him, the only junior on that defensive line, and he grabs a big play right there, and it is a turnover. Vigor in great real estate inside the red zone, looking to score here, Corey.
Just looking down his wide receiver, and just a great jump on the ball by the 6'2", 185-pound junior. Like you mentioned, the only junior on this defense. He has an Alcorn State offer, but you can see how explosive this Vigor Wolves defense is. They flip the field right back and take over offensively. Hope to get it in gear here on their second possession.
Whitsitt with the carry, bullying his way for about 6 or 7 on the first down run for the Vigor Wolves.
Breland Franks, the 6', 190-pound senior cornerback, on the stop on the play for the Williamson Lions. You take a look at this replay, and Whitsitt just tries to turn it up, lowers his shoulders, tries to get low. Franks makes the stop, not before. 6 yards were picked up by the Wolfpack.
Second and about 4 for Vigor. Ball sitting at about the 18-yard line. I'm sorry, about the 14-yard line. Walker has a man in the end zone. Does Jackson get his feet down? And they are calling it a touchdown for the Vigor Wolves. James Jackson with a 13-yard reception from Kyle Walker.
Great job of Kyle Walker rolling out to his right side, finding the 5'10", 185-pound senior James Jackson. You look at this replay, he rolls out to his right, finds Jackson, his 27th reception of the season, his 6th receiving touchdown in the right corner of the end zone. Points off turnovers very quickly now for the Wolfpack. Let's see how the Williamson Lions are going to look to respond.
The extra point is up, and it is no good. So DeJadris Evans Busby does not convert. So it's 6-0. Vigor on top. We'll be back with more action. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
Join the 35th Annual Mobile International Festival as they present celebrations from around the world on Saturday, November 17th at the grounds, Mobile Fairgrounds. Taste exotic cuisine, enjoy entertainment, and shop for treasures. Tickets are $12 for adults, $10 for seniors, students $5 with valid ID, children 12 and under free. For information, call 208-1556 or visit mobileinternationalfestival.org.
Welcome back to Lab People Stadium for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Fresh off a 13-yard touchdown pass from Kyle Walker to James Jackson, and it puts Vigor on top 6-0 over Williamson. And Corey, points off turnovers. Vigor makes up for the mistakes of the 2 offsides. They get an interception. 2 plays later, they're in the end zone.
You always want to try to win 2 out of 3 phases of the game, but those extra points become critical, and as Vigor looks to make their playoff push, every single point will count.
Nice return right there by Jacob Hatch, one of the up men for Williamson, as Williamson will get their best field position of the night, ball at their own 40-yard line. Our second look at the Williamson offense. So, Corey, we've seen a couple passes from Andrews a bit high, and he had to pay for that last one with that interception by Sidney Williams. What do you think the coaching staff talked to him about on the sideline?
Jamarcus Russell's on the sidelines. He is coaching the quarterbacks. Again, he knows plenty about quarterbacks. He's going to tell his young quarterback just to shake that one off and to be ready and play the next play. You don't want to be scared to throw the football. You just want to make sure you're not looking down your wide receiver when you do so.
Pass completed to Breland Franks. He's got some guys in front of him blocking as he gets into Vigor Wolves territory. Great reception right there onto about the 39-yard line of the Wolfpack.
Great offensive play call by Famous Davis. And what do? You give the young man an opportunity to complete a pass very quickly. And it's a short, easy, simple pass. If Vigor's playing a little bit off the line of scrimmage, he was able to complete it for big-time yardage for the Williamson Lions.
1st and 10 for the Williamson Lions, looking to get on the scoreboard to even things up or possibly take the lead. Franks and JaQuinton Shaw in the backfield. Franks goes into motion. They're going to toss it out to him. That's a lateral live ball. He brings it in, but a flag came in from referee Tim Porter. And I think this one might be coming back, Corey.
Yeah, I do believe it's going to be against the Williamson Lions as well. But look at the strength of Franks after the catch. It took 3 Wolfpack defenders to try to take him to the ground, and as the whistle blew, he was still on his feet.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show the strength of Franks. Good pass by Andrews. The flag comes out immediately. But again, look at this. 3 Wolfpack defenders. He's still grinding, churning those feet. Weren't able to get him down.
So Williamson will not be able to capitalize. They are going to be penalized here as the officials discuss it. And Tim Porter writing in his little notebook there, Corey. So I wonder if this is an unsportsmanlike. We'll wait for the call here. So it's a false start.
A legal formation, and then
legal
you have
formation.
your unsportsmanlike.
And unsportsmanlike against the Wolfpack. So that's going to push, I'm sorry, against the Lions. So that will push them back. So unfortunately, Tim Porter's microphone not working right now. So that's going to push Williamson back 2, I believe, 5 yards here. So we will have a do-over, Corey. It'll be 1st and 15. So 1st and 15 for Williamson.
And the biggest thing for the Williamson Lions is to shake that penalty off and come right back with the same game plan, which is to attack this Vigor Wolves offense from the outside.
No quick toss right out there to Franks again. And look at him just bulling his way, Corey, getting to the 35-yard line. Great yards after the catch by the senior receiver.
Frank's not giving up. He shows his strength and his grit as Dylan Stallworth, the 5'10", 160-pound senior, is able to take him down just like 2 or 3 plays earlier. Franks used to play quarterback, as you mentioned earlier,
Right.
Al, so he's very savvy. But at 6 foot, 190 pounds, you can see the strength of this young man.
They're going back to Franks once again on a little screen action right there. Gets a nice block, not wrapped up by Vigor, trying to get to the end zone. Gets down to about the 9 or 8 yard line. And Corey, one missed tackle, and Franks was trying to break that one to the house.
Jamarcus Lewis on the stop, pushing him out of bounds from his defensive tackle position. But look at the blocking downfield. Great job by the wide receivers of the Williamson Lions, making sure that Burley's Richardson, we call him Nehemiah Richardson, doing an outstanding job helping his teammates out, and those short, sweet bubble screens have been very effective for the Williamson Lions so far on this drive, and the inability for Vigor to wrap up on the first initial contact has really cost them additional yardage defensively.
Let's take a look at the impact players for Williamson right now. As an injured Vigor player going to the sideline. There's your guy right there, Braylon Franks.
Braylon Franks, again, just definitely a difference maker, not only from the quarterback position, wide receiver position, also the cornerback position, and his buddy Antoine Thomas on the defensive side. You look at this young man, he's only listed at 5'5", 160 pounds as a senior, but has over 97 tackles this season for the Williamson Lions.
Wow, and for impact for Vigor, let's see who do you have for the Vigor Wolves tonight there, Corey.
Vigor, you definitely have to go with defensive lineman Fred Austin. Fred Austin has 14 tackles for losses and over 8.5 sacks. And the quarterback for the Vigor Wolves, Kyle Walker, when his ball is in his hands, he has the ability to be a dual-threat quarterback, but in his second year in this system, has gained a lot of confidence.
Yeah, he's a dangerous guy. Injured on that play, defensive tackle Jamarcus Lewis, so he's going to step out, replaced by Chris Lovett. And Lovett right in the middle of tackling JaQuinton Shaw, as he may have picked up 1 or 2 on that carry.
And that's a situation, again, Eric Thomas coming in and trying to help make the stop from his linebacker position. He's been very active tonight, finding the football early and often. And now look at the Williamson Lions inside the 10-yard line right up to the 8. It's going to bring up 2nd down and goal to go now for Williamson.
Approaching 5 minutes remaining here in the first quarter. Al Wheaton, Corley Bounty down on the sidelines. Kimberly Dunn. This is our last telecast of the season, the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. And that's a possible score, but incomplete as Andrews tried to get it out to Nehemiah Richardson. The ball tipped incomplete, so it'll take Williamson to 3rd and goal here.
3rd down and goal to go. Prime real estate for this Williamson Lions to wear. To me, it's 4-down territory. You look at Cedric, the ball was tipped by a Vigor linebacker, and that's a huge stop because I do believe had their hands not been in the passing lanes there, that would have been a touchdown pass by the Williamson Lions.
3rd and goal here. Double receivers at the top and bottom. They give it to JaQuinton Shaw, faking the pass to Braylon Franks, and Shaw is going to come up short, maybe about 1 or maybe 2 or 3 yards here from the goal line, Corey. So it's going to be 4th and goal decision time for Coach Dedrick Sumter.
Being tackled by Frederick Austin, our impact player, that 6 foot, 275-pound nose guard, has offers from West Alabama and Tuskegee, also has 8.5 sacks, 14 tackles for loss, and 16 solo tackles. Now you're in a situation to where you're on the 3-yard line, you're trailing 6-0. Early in the game, you know, some coaches' philosophy is you never walk away from points, but when you don't have a surefire kicker in some situations, you go ahead and you pick out your best offensive play and go for what you know. If I'm the Williamson Lions right here, I'll probably go for 6.
I got you. Let's take a look at the 5A standings right now, Region 1 5A standings. This one's pretty much wrapped up. Vigor, as you talked about at the top of the telecast, Corey, their 3rd region championship in a row. So great job by the Wolfpack. Jackson, Citronelle under Coach Jason Barnett, who stepped in toward the beginning of the season, taking their interim role and jumped right in. And the Citronelle Wildcats in the playoffs. And Corey, right there in the 4th seed, Faith Academy, led by the football whisperer himself, Jack French, gets the Rams into the playoffs.
Jack French always finds a way, but you look at the first-round region matchups. As I mentioned earlier, Central Tuscaloosa will travel to Pritchard Stadium, take on Vigor. Chilton County versus Jackson. Citronelle goes up to Bibb County, and Faith Academy travels to Demopolis. Here in this situation, 4th down and goal to go. You call timeout to get your best goal line play call here.
Get your best 2-point conversion because the ball is lined up right at the 2-point try line there, Corey, right at the hash. So Williamson bringing in some extra meat on the line, extra tight ends. 2 receivers at the top, and you cannot believe it, a flag on the play. I hope this is not an illegal motion here on the Lions. So offsides against Vigor. That's our 3rd time seeing that tonight. So that will get Williamson a bit closer to the goal line.
And what's interesting right here is you're already at the 3-yard line. So you progress it really half the distance. It's really now going to be marked at the 1.5-yard line now. Makes it a little bit easier. And again, believe it or not, that 1.5 yards makes a difference in your play calling ability. So Famous Davis, the offensive coordinator, Williamson comes in averaging 20.8 points per game. Be interesting to see what happens here.
They're going to hand it off to JaQuinton Shaw, and he is met at the line by that Vigor Wolf defensive line, and that is going to be ball over on downs. So the Wolfpack stands, Corey, after giving up a couple yards right there with the offsides.
Well, you run right into the heart of this Vigor defense at 275 pounds and 285 pounds. The Vigor Wolves just showed that they wanted to control and dominate the line of scrimmage, and that's one of the things, again, on my checklist that Coach Scott mentioned to me that they had to do. They must control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football. A 7-play, 61-yard drive, all for naught, as the Vigor Wolves now, if they want to put 6 on the board, have to go 99 yards.
Big goal line stand right there for the Vigor Wolves. They're going to hand it off to the big back, Jalen Whitsitt. And he gets them out of territory. Sorry, not Whitsitt on that carry. Looks like possibly the fullback there for Vigor.
Jeremy Labazon is going to get an opportunity as he's that big fullback, just trying to get some breathing room for this Wolfpack offense, as, again, they have to march 99 yards for a touchdown.
So Coach Derek Scott bringing in some big meat right there to get going. Labazon actually plays second string on the defensive tackle, Corey. So smart move by the Wolfpack, digging into what they have available to them to get some extra blocking for Jalen Whitsitt on that carry as he picks up a couple, and they're close to picking up a first down here.
Whitsitt, 6 foot, 200-pound senior, has 120 carries on the season, 683 yards and 12 touchdowns. And again, this big offensive line just trying to control the line of scrimmage and pick up this first down on 3rd down and 1.
There's the push across the line. And I believe that's going to be a first down as Labazon kicks the carry, and the sticks are moving, Corey. So first down so Vigor gets themselves out of the hole, backed up against the end line there.
And if they are methodically going to march themselves down the field, that will keep this Williamson Lion defense on the field for a very long time. And I mentioned that a lot of these Lions players play both on sides of the football, so that will wear you down if you're out there for some 8 or 9 minutes trying to hold this Wolfpack team down.
Now, we do know from covering Vigor before, they have various different formations. They have one called the Wolf Cat, and they have different types. So right now, they got that beef package in right now.
Demetrius Inge, the linebacker at 6'2", 200-pound senior, has over 100 tackles on the season. Just made his 109th tackle. No gain by the Wolfpack. As a matter of fact, they lost a yard. Inge does a good job making sure he gets penetration and stopping a great drive so far by the Vigor Wolves.
Flag was on the play, but it is picked up by referee Tim Porter, so no flag there, as it'll be 2nd and 11. And the Vigor Wolves out of that hole they were in. Little quick handoff to Williamson, and Tim Porter throws his flag out once again.
A quick flag being called by our white hat tonight, and matter of fact, multiple flags on the field from the side judge as well as Tim Porter.
I count 3 of them myself, Corey. So this penalty will go against Vigor.
You go from 2nd down and 11 now to 2nd down and 16 yards to go with 2 minutes remaining here in the first quarter of play. Vigor was able to capitalize off of the turnover early, and now the Wolfpack have dug themselves a little bit of a hole.
Yeah, you're right. One of those formations illegal there for Coach Derek Scott and the Wolfpack, so it pushes them back. 2nd and 17 is what Ladd is going to call it. And Vigor's going to spread them out right now. Looking to the sidelines, quarterback Kyle Walker getting the call as the play clock is under 10 seconds. Connects with James Jackson. That pass is complete, picks up a couple. So it'll take Vigor to 3rd down. Possibly about 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8 here, Corey.
And what's interesting, on the top of the screen, you have a matchup that I want to keep my eye on. You have Breland Franks taking on Artel Howell. Artel Howell is the slot wide receiver, 5'10", 175-pound senior. Has over 700 yards receiving for the Wolfpack. Haven't seen them go to Howell yet. So it'll be interesting to see when Coach Scott decides to call his number.
Walker trying to connect with someone, but the coverage has all the receivers wrapped up, so he's going to bail out, trying to get to the first down marker, close to it. A flag came in during the play and one late right at the sideline. That could possibly be a late hit there.
Yeah, anytime you are standing on the white and you don't back off of the quarterback, the flag is definitely going to come out. Kyle Walker trying to go through his progressions, looking down the field, decides that no one's open, decides to keep it, and you can look right here as the Williamson Lion defender, Demetrius Inge, hits him on the white paint.
Yeah.
That will cost you 15 yards every single time.
During the replay there, possibly looked like it could have been a hold against one of the interior linemen for Vigor.
You're exactly right. I think we'll march this one off both ways.
Right,
we'll have the holding that they'll march off, and then they'll have the personal foul, late hit out of bounds, that they'll assess also. So we'll see if it neutralizes one another or one supersedes the other in yardage.
Right.
And that's what Tim Porter and his crew are discussing right now to exactly assess how the yardage situation is going to work itself out.
See if we can get some lip reading here, Corey. Well, there's the hole against the Vigor Wolves. And there's a call against Williamson, as you said.
And they're going to mark off the holding, then they're going to march off the unsportsmanlike or the late hit out of bounds.
Right.
And it's going to actually be that 5-yard difference, and there's going to be a gain by the Wolfpack out of it because one does supersede the other.
That's correct.
In yardage situation. So now you're looking at 3rd down and 5 yards to go
5.
for the Wolfpack. My man John Vella from AL.com doing an outstanding job keeping us abreast to what's going on statistically. I always want to thank him because when he's here, I know we're going to be in control of our stats.
Even brought his intern Jackson with him tonight. Walker trying to escape and throws that one away. So the Williamson Lions hold, Corey. And that takes Vigor to 4th down.
Yeah, I mean, they had to go 99 yards, and the drive was not able to be sustained because of a couple penalties. And now defensive coordinator Antonio Coleman and head coach Dedrick Scott very excited that the Williamson Lions were able to come away with a stop. You look at this Lion defense, only giving up 10.6 points per game, and are very stingy, have had 2 shutouts this season over LaFleur and Monroe County. The Williamson Lions will now take over if they're able to field this punt cleanly.
JaQuinton Shaw back to retrieve the punt. He's just going to let that one die out, so it's going to stop at about the Williamson 46-47 yard line, and the clock says 0 here at Ladd Stadium. So actually that is the end of the first quarter. So at the end of one, Vigor on top 6-0 over Williamson. We'll come back and give you some quarter 2 action. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
In Mobile County Public Schools, we are redefining ready. We are graduating college ready, career ready, and life ready. We are more than just a test score. We are earning college credit while in high school. We are working internships to get real-world experience. We are welders. We are certified nursing assistants. We are redefining ready.
Do you have what it takes to be an Envision graduate? We are pioneering students to be all they can be, from 6th grade all the way to 12th grade.
I definitely would recommend Envision to other students who feel the way I feel. They really work with you, and they've gotten tutors, and you have online teachers to talk to.
It starts right here. It starts right now. Envision Virtual Academy. Enroll today.
The MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. I'm Al Wheaton, joined by Corley Bounty with Kimberly Dunn, and we got to thank our folks at Jersey Mike's for taking care of us tonight and the whole entire season, Corey.
No doubt about it. Jersey Mike's a sub above. Want to thank Mark and Christina Sinclair for their gracious giving us and the crew nice sub sandwiches each and every Thursday and Friday night.
Absolutely. And also Future Ones, they've been with us the entire season as well. We have on our bright royal blue polos tonight, so thanks for Future Ones for being behind us all season long as well.
Trent Massey and Gus Smith, thank you very much. Future Ones, we're the future.
1st and 10 for the Lions as they take that one up the middle for a couple yards by JaQuinton Shaw. Let's take it down to the sidelines. Check in with Kimberly Dunn once again.
Hey guys, as I'm watching the game, I'm noticing there's a lot of confusion that's here on the sidelines, and that may be one of the reasons that we're having a lot of penalties tonight. And both of these coaches before the game said that they wanted to do everything that they could to avoid these penalties and to be mistake-free. And unfortunately, so far, just in this first quarter of the game, we have seen a lot of penalties, and I think it's contributing to a lot of the confusion on the sidelines. So hopefully they're able to clean their act up on the sidelines. That way it will result in a cleaner football game the rest of the night.
Thank you, Kim. We appreciate that. Good eyes right there. A lot of flags coming in tonight on both sides, Corey, as that carry up the middle. Thought it was going to get a lot of yards, but only 1 or 2. So it's going to take Williamson a 3rd down. Let's call it maybe 3rd and a long 2 here, maybe 3.
3rd down and 3 yards to go for the Williamson Lions. But if you're not able to pick up this 1st down right here, you will be able to flip the field for a punting situation. And again, Vigor, you pin Vigor back down to their own 1-yard line, not being able to get into the end zone on a great defensive line stand in the first quarter for the Wolfpack. But Williamson really wants to gain momentum by moving these sticks here at 3rd down and 3 yards to go.
Double stack receivers at the bottom. Jacob Hatch in motion, low snap, quick out to Braylon Franks on a little tunnel screen there, Corey. He stretches out. Does he have enough to get it? Let's see where they mark it at.
Right
he
at
is
the
close.
Yard
I mean, it is right there, kind of pretty much right down in front of us here from the press box at Ladd. I think it's enough for it. Let's see what Tim Porter says.
And I do believe they're going to take an opportunity to give him the 1st down and move the sticks. But what a heads-up play by Franks, not only getting upended, but stretching forward without fumbling the football, and that's the type of momentum. John Vella let me know at the end of the first quarter that Williamson outgained Vigor so far offensively, and that's going to be huge. And again, that keeps the defense off the field if you're the Williamson Lions.
I think it's a great move by Coach Sumter and the staff to switch Franks out to wide receiver. Keep in mind, they have thrown a few screens, a few little toss passes out to him, Corey. I think they're setting Vigor up for a play later on where possibly a little halfback toss pass to Franks, and he's going to catch somebody wide open deep.
We've seen the double pass before by this Williamson Lion offensive team, so it's definitely something that I know the Vigor defensive coaching staff is aware of, that is in the arsenal of offensive coordinator Famous Davis. And it's just you have to be disciplined and don't get caught with your eyes in the backfield letting anything get behind you.
2nd and 6 here for Williamson. Kimberly talked about it. A lot of penalties going on. Folks may be a bit tight trying to get things together. Both of these teams pretty much playoff bound. But keep in mind, Williamson is a 4A school. Last year they played in 5A. Corey, we had an opportunity to witness our first overtime game together. The score was only 14-8. So I am not surprised at all. It's only 6-0 right now in the second quarter.
Yeah, very low-scoring game, and you have to hope that the Wolfpack weren't getting caught looking ahead, taking advantage, or looking over this Williamson Lion team, which I know the coaches did not do, but sometimes it's hard to get your young men at 14, 15, 16, and 17 years old to buy into it when they see them on film or when they just kind of brush them off and what you think about them. Sometimes you take it for granted.
And it looks as if Coach Detrick Sumter has burned his last time out at 8:28 remaining in the second quarter. He's a bit upset about something, and he's going to talk to the guys right now, Corey, if we can get the cameras down there. So no timeouts remaining here for Williamson at the 8:28 mark. Since we're talking about coaches, let's put it up. Take a look at both of these coaches, Coach Derek Scott and Detrick Sumter. Coach Scott in his 4th year, and you talked about it earlier. We can't go without saying his 3rd region title over at Vigor's twin brother, Eric Scott, is the offensive coordinator. And if he wasn't coaching or educating, he'd be in real estate across the field from him. Dedrick Sumter in his 7th year at Williamson, looking for possibly a first playoff win, as they're going to get in there some kind of way as a 3 or 4 seed. Graduated from Rain High School and played his college football at Alabama State. He might be upset with the results of the Magic City Classic this year.
Probably
with
wasn't
them losing.
Too happy. That's right. He wasn't happy about the Magic City Classic, but here in this classic confrontation that we're having at Ladd Peoples Stadium, you look at Coach Scott, again, winning his 3rd region championship in a row, very impressive. But he replaced 4 out of his 5 offensive linemen to begin this season, and that was a point of concern for him. But he did have all his skilled players back from last year. Let's see if this Vigor defense can bow up and get another huge stop.
They'll toss, and Corey, look at there. Oh, my goodness. It's going to be a short duck there, but wow, I got to play my lucky lotto numbers. I called it, Corey. There it is.
Exactly set up just like you mentioned moments ago, to where you continue to hit him on the perimeter, and that's Braylon Franks, who is a former quarterback and who you may see under center tonight, just unable to come up with the great throw that he needed. He had the streaking wide receiver open, just left it a little bit short, and now that's going to bring up punter for the Williamson Lions, Jacob Hatch, trying to flip the field with the Williamson Lions trailing 6-0. But as a defensive back, again, you don't want to get caught with your eyes in the backfield, and there was a wide receiver that went streaking behind the defensive back. Just the throw was not on the money.
Artel Howell standing at the 11-yard line waiting to field this punt from Hatch. somewhat punting it away from him. Out of bounds it goes. So let's see where they mark it at as the official comes up, continues to run. And he's stopping at about the 22, maybe 23-yard line.
So you were able to essentially flip the field and get some positive yardage and make this Wolfpack offense drive the length of the field. We saw them score their only offensive points of the night on a short field that was caused by a turnover by the errant throw of Cedric Andrews. But now let's see if this Williamson Lion defense can continue to roar as they have so far. Doing a good job of keeping this team in check, but Vigor on their last drive had too many penalties, only have 44 total yards of offense thus far.
And off to Jalen Whitsett up the middle. He bulls for about 5 or 6, maybe 7 yards on that carry. I believe I'll go with the 7 there, pushing the ball up to about the 30-yard line.
You look at the great push, and finding the hole was Whitsett, and a good tackle by Demetrius Inge. Just an active linebacker. We'll talk about him later on in the broadcast, as well as being a leader of this defense. He likes to lead by example, and on that great tackle right there, he did a good job of it.
2nd and 3 for the Wolfpack. Walker's going to keep this one, just go right up the middle. He was trying to get the first down, but stopped about a yard short. I believe they're giving progress, maybe a 2-yard gain, so it's going to set up 3rd and 1 here for Vigor.
Carlos Coleman, the 6'2", 230-pound senior nose tackle, has 6 sacks, 11 tackles for loss, 47 solo tackles. Did a good job of making sure the Wolfpack did not pick up the first down.
3rd and 1 here for Vigor. Ball at the own 32-yard line, and that play is just blown up by the defense of the Williamson Lions. They are not having it. They want the pigskin back, Corey.
Anthony Johnson, outstanding job of picking the right gap to fill 6'2", 175-pound freshman. If we're able to take a look at that replay, he was able to be in the backfield almost as the ball was handed off by Kyle Walker, resulting in a 1-yard loss. Now it's going to bring up a punting situation for the Wolfpack, and we're just playing back and forth football.
Right.
DeAnthony Walker, let's see if he can put toe to leather and try to get this kick end over end.
As I said earlier, I'm not surprised at all. Score only 6-0 right now, but 1 score on the board. Walker just kind of pops that one up and kind of takes a bounce and a roll. And Vigor's going to down it at about the 38-yard line of Williamson. Williamson has secured back-to-back winning seasons for the first time in a decade. The last time that occurred was in 2007 and 2008 under former coach Bobby Parrish. Corey, that's a long time to go without having back-to-back winning seasons.
I agree with you 100%. And if you look at Williamson's overall record versus Vigor all time, it's 8-19. Coach Sumter in his 7th year at Williamson, 26-45. But as you mentioned at the beginning of your telecast, has these Williamson Lions in the playoffs for the 3rd time in his head coaching career here at Williamson.
Flag on the play against Williamson, going to push them back. I think they may have had too many men on the field, Corey.
They did have 12 men on the field.
Substitution infraction on the offensive team, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
And like magic, Tim Porter's voice has appeared for the first time in the ball game, Corey, at the 6:01 mark.
Yeah, better late than never for Tim Porter. And Vigor only has 44 yards offensively, and Williamson has doubled that up at 88 total yards.
Andrews has a lot of room, just can't find anyone. He does hook up with JaQuinton Shaw as they sent out 5 receivers on that formation, but that pass only brings in a 3-yard gain, so it'll be 2nd and 7 for the Williamson Lions. Good shot right there, former quarterback Jamarcus Russell. He is the state's all-time leading passing quarterback for the state of Alabama.
This young man could absolutely spin the pigskin. And Peyton Manning at his passing academy said Jamarcus Russell could throw the ball further than any other quarterback that he's ever witnessed in his life.
Once again, 5 receivers for Williamson, but that does not stop the Vigor Wolves as they go up the middle. Frederick Austin, one of your impact players, he makes an impact right there. That's a loss on that sack for
and that's
Williamson.
Exactly what you see him do. Just comes untouched and blows by offensive lineman Reginald Banks. Reginald Banks is 6'4", 275-pound freshman, but Fred Austin has a couple of years on him and shows him what that explosiveness can do. Now has 9.5 sacks on the season, brings up 3rd down and uncomfortable for the Williamson Lions.
That was a great move by Fred Austin. His favorite athlete is Aaron Donald, and he definitely had the Donald going right there as he got that sack.
Call it 3rd down and 16 for the Williamson Lions, and I would like to see him here go to Richardson or go to Breland Franks.
Hatch going across the flat right there and can't bring it in. They had a little kind of delayed screen there set up, Corey. If he had caught the ball and kind of weaved his way, possibly could have got close enough to the 1st down stick.
Yeah, would have gained positive yardage. That's a situation where Hatch has to come away with that throw, try to turn his head. Hatch is 6'2", 175-pound senior, is now going to punt the ball away for the Williamson Lions. And here's a big return set up by the Vigor Wolves. They're going to run to the numbers here. Not going to necessarily go for the fake in this situation because you're on your side of the field.
Right.
It wouldn't be advantageous to do anything like that to draw them off sides, maybe to gain additional yardage, because we have seen the Wolfpack jump off sides a couple of times early.
Howell setting up just past the 50-yard line. Kind of daring Hatch as they put your foot into it. And Howell feels it right about the 40 and spins around and just brings it out of bounds. So it'll be 1st down for Vigor right about the 40-yard line. Corey, it's the year of the 8s for the Vigor Wolves. Now, since 1988, whenever a year has ended in 8, Vigor has made an appearance in the state title game. In 1998, they lost to Vestavia Hills, and in 2008, they had the school's first perfect season, finishing 15-0. And I'm pretty sure you're young enough to remember back in 1988 what they did 30 years ago.
Very special team. As in week number 0, we had an opportunity to be at Pritchard Stadium and see the Blunt Vigor game.
Right.
So many of those 87, 88 returners came back, and we love to see them come back and be a part of the celebration in Pritchard.
So a lot of people around town calling it the year of the Wolf, with it being 2018. Can they get to the championship game and make another appearance?
I know as part of the Prep Sports Report that I'm a part of every Saturday morning, I picked at the beginning of the year for the Vigor Wolves to win the state championship, and I know others around this area, Randy Kennedy included, has picked to be the year of the Wolf. So, again, when you have this many returning seniors that have played together this long, you expect something positive to happen, especially when you've won the region 3 consecutive seasons.
2nd and long right here for the Vigor Wolves. You and I had an opportunity to sit down with our buddy Brad Lowell, athletic director. Oh, sack right there by the Williamson Lions, and that's going to push Vigor way back now, Corey. Big 3rd and long coming up here for the Wolfpack.
Cornelius Johnson, the defensive end, 6', 200-pound senior, picks up his 3rd sack on the season, does a wonderful job blasting by Tyreek Sellers, the 6'4", 315-pound senior, who's a 3-year starter. You have to protect your quarterback in this situation.
Right.
Now it's going to bring up 3rd down and 22 yards to go.
As I was saying, we had a chance to sit down with Brad Lowell for a preview of the season, and I remember Coach Derek Scott talking about in media days how they left a lot on the tables last year by not making it past that 3rd round in the playoffs. So I'm with you. I expect them to be in the championship game at the minimum. But right now they're trying to get out of a hole as Walker just throws a duck up there out of bounds. And Williamson, that defense, has held once again on Vigor.
And if you're Antonio Coleman, you're jumping and down and you're just so pleased with the pressure that your 3-4 defense has been able to put on Kyle Walker. He hasn't had an opportunity to really step up into the pocket and find any of those dynamic wide receivers, Sidney Williams, James Jackson, or Artel Howell vertically, and that's something that has to change in the 2nd half for the Wolfpack.
Now we know Williamson got down to the Vigor 2-yard line with their longest drive of the evening. Right now, opportunity to get some good field position. JaQuinton Shaw just steps away from this one. And Vigor has somewhat flipped the field as the ball is going to be placed at the 34-yard line of Williamson. 2:14 remaining here in the 1st half. Corey, if you didn't know the records of these teams, Vigor #2 in the state, coming in at 8-1. Williamson 6-3 on the season. 6-0 is our score. Wow.
Williamson so very scrappy against the #1 team in 4A, the UMS Wright Bulldogs, earlier in the season. It really was, I think the final score was 21-0, and that's when Williamson was probably 100% healthy.
Right.
On that particular punt play right there, we are going to have a flag on the play first, and it will be walked off by Tim Porter and the officials. Now that his microphone's working, we'll see what he has.
Personal foul is going to be against Vigor, so that's a free 15 for the Lions. Puts them close to the midfield stripe.
During the return, personal foul, defenseless player on the kicking team, 15-yard penalty to the end of the run. Penalty results in a first down.
And you can see Coach Scott with his hands on his hips in the background. You know he's very frustrated at that. And we'll see if this Williams offense can really get it in gear. We've seen them move the sticks a little bit, and they're setting up a nice screenplay and are going to turn it up.
There's Nehemiah Richardson on that screen up the middle. He holds on to the pigskin. That's a first down. Keep in mind, Williamson out of timeout, so this is their 2-minute drill to try to get on the board right now.
Good tackle on the play by Dylan Stallworth. And Dylan Stallworth, the young man for this Vigor defense, the free safety at 5'10", 160 pounds, does a good job of preventing a touchdown by the Williamson Lions, but that's a safe and nice play call. Again, Cedric Andrews threw an interception early in the game, but you never would have thought that because he was able to shake it off and play the next play.
Ball on the 36-yard line of the Wolves, and they're going to hand that one off to JaQuinton Shaw, and that play pretty much you could say was dead from the beginning. Flag right there from Tim Porter coming in. Also, our crew letting us know Dylan Stallworth interned with the MCPSS TV crew this past summer. Of course, a very versatile young man getting some exposure here in the broadcasting communication field.
And again, you see his dynamic ability from the defensive side of the football. He's a senior with this Wolfpack team, and that's going to be beneficial down the line because, again, I mentioned how many seniors, close to 20 on this roster for the Wolfpack. 2019, looking to get it done, had high hopes coming in as freshmen 3 years ago. Now their senior year, they know this is it for them.
This is huge. They've made the playoffs every year, and every year they have gone deeper. They've gone a deeper round into the playoffs, so a lot expected out of the Vigor Wolves this year. A little quick toss out there to JaQuinton Shaw. That is incomplete. Williamson now second down after that penalty. It'll be 2nd and 15 for the Lions. Now, notice the game clock is still running, Corey. It was an incomplete pass. And the game clock continues to run. Now it has stopped at 1:09, but I'm going to say maybe 5 or 6 seconds ticked off there. Buddy John Villa confirms that, Corey. Wow.
Those could be valuable. I mean,
that's right.
You look in this situation where you come down and you were able to stop them on the 1-yard line, and you get down here to this goal line situation, every second's going to count, especially not having any timeouts remaining with 1:09 here in the first half.
Trip receivers at the top. Andrews looking that way, but he's going to dump a screen to JaQuinton Shaw. Can he get out of bounds? He's back close to the original line of scrimmage. Little extracurriculars going on after the play. No flags, but the clock continues to run. But we do have a stoppage right now. Did a flag come out, Corey?
On the far side, okay. There is one on the line, Judge, right in front of Coach Scott on about the 42-yard line.
With Williamson in the home yellow, the flags just gets kind of immersed into color, so it's hard to spot them.
Tim Porter going to confirm with his crew exactly what he has, and now that his microphone's working, we'll be able to pick up on exactly what he has.
There's no penalty on the play.
So the clock is being wound, ready to play. 3rd and 15. Well, I'm sorry, maybe about 3rd and 11 or 12 right now where the ball is spotted. And I think Coach Scott wants a timeout as he's yelling at one of the officials on the sideline. Keep in mind, magnet school applications, the process begins online Monday, November 5th. Need some more information? Visit mcpss.com. Call the number right there in front of you. Current magnet school students must recommit. The deadline is December 5th, so get your application in starting Monday, November 5th for magnet school applications. Corey, right now I think Coach Scott wanted something out of that penalty possibly because he is talking to Tim Porter and he is giving them an earful.
Yeah, he's very frustrated at this point in time that flag came out right in front of him on the sideline.
Right.
He's asking for an explanation as to how that was called. And if Coach Porter does not give him the type of explanation that he likes, it's not really going to matter. But at the same time, it's something that he will send into the state for review if he's unhappy with it. But you can definitely tell he's very frustrated by the call that went against his Wolfpack. Now you're bringing up 3rd down and 11 yards to go. And Tim Porter is letting him get an earful,
That's
and
right.
he's taking it.
Let him earn his time out.
Let him earn his time out, and wanted to hear him out and see what he has to say. 7 penalties for 50 yards. My man John Vella, again, keeping us abreast to the stats here in the first half. That's something the Wolfpack just does not want to see.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Clean up.
You're right about that, especially going into the playoffs. You do not want to be sloppy. You want to be on it every time because at that point it's one game and done when you get into the playoffs here. So 3rd and 10, that's what Ladd is calling it, but I'm going to go with you, Corey, and say 3rd and 11. Big play right here for the Williamson Lions. Andrews has a lot of time. He has a man, Jacob Hatch, and that ball is tipped right in the air by Sidney Williams, who got that interception to prevent Hatch from bringing in that possible touchdown catch.
Great throw by Cedric Andrews, but an even better play by Sidney Williams. He times his jump. I like how he looks off the safety and then goes to his second. But look at the high point of Sidney Williams. If he just mistimes his jump by 1 second, that's going to be a touchdown of 37 yards by the Williamson Lions. But I like the fact that they went for that kill shot into the end zone right here at the 37-yard line of the Wolfpack. You definitely don't want to punt the ball. I'd say you go ahead and go for it in 4-down territory. You're trailing 6-0. You played a pretty good first half of football defensively. I'm going for the kill shot again. They had success with the underneath pass to Nehemiah Richardson also earlier.
Here comes Braylon Franks. They're going to toss it out to him. Little halfback toss pass. They're going to go to it again, Corey, trying to get it to Richardson, and it is bobbled in the end zone as the Vigor Wolves, 2 of them, try to come up with the ball, but a flag comes in, and that possibly could be a late hit, Corey.
It's going to be a personal foul against my man Fred Austin. Look at the replay. He's going to hit the quarterback late in that situation. He just absolutely levels Franks after the ball is thrown. He couldn't stop his momentum. But he is going to be flagged for that play, and it's going to give a free 15 yards, which will add to that penalty yardage, probably adding in close to 65 yards worth of penalties now established by the Wolfpack here in the first half.
And that's got our intern Jackson over there, his pencil quite scribbling right now after that one.
During the play, there were 2 live ball penalties. We had a personal foul. The defensive team had an ineligible receiver downfield. On the goal team, penalties will offset. Replay 4th down.
So it's a mulligan. Wow. It's a mulligan for both of them. Look at here, Corey. It's a do-over.
And that really hurts the Williamson Lions more so than the Vigor Wolves, because you were going to get a free 15 out of that, and now it's nullified. And like you said, it's going to bring back up 4th down and 11 yards to go with 28 seconds. And not only that, you wasted one of your best plays.
You did.
Again, Braylon Franks swinging out of the backfield, a lateral. We saw the same situation a week ago in the Saraland Blunt game to win it in overtime by the Spartans. But here, Cedric's just going to throw it up as far as he can down the field. But too much pressure
He's
by the Wolfpack.
Brought down a big tackle right there with 20 seconds remaining, so the clock will stop. It'll be ball over on downs as Vigor will get the ball on their own 40-yard line, and they pretty much collapsed and brought the heat on Andrews right there.
Number 55 is not on our roster, the C2C roster provided by the school at this point in time. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what happens here with Vigor with 20 seconds remaining, whether they decide to take a knee or go ahead and try to take their shot down the field. Dante Sewell will get credit for the pressure for the Vigor Wolves.
First and 10, ball on the 40-yard line of Vigor, and they're setting up as if they're going to take a shot, try to get some points on the board. Coach Scott wanting to send a message here. We're not just going to sit down, and the ball falls out of Walker's hand. He scrambled. That's a live ball, and Williamson is on it. Corey change of possession, stops the clock at 14 seconds. Oh, my goodness. I just said it. He's not going to sit on it. He wants to go for a big play, and look at what happens.
Bad snap. Kyle tries to make something out of nothing. Good defense. Good stick. Picked up by Anthony Johnson, the 6'2", 175-pound freshman on the play. But Kyle Walker, that play was doomed from the start because the timing was going to be thrown off because of the low snap. And now here it is with 14 seconds remaining. Vigor having their first turnover of the first half and of the game. Gives the Williamson Lions an opportunity to take a couple more shots down the field. And again, the matchup that I'm looking forward to now will be, again, what does Breland Franks do, and how is Cedric Andrews able to look down the field and try to find him?
And we have a flag on the play, as Kimberly has talked about it. Very sloppy game here with the flags.
Come back.
That's going to go against Williamson. We'll push them back 5 yards.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
So now first and 15, 13 seconds remaining here in the first half. Corey, will we ever get to halftime? Someone was saying to me a second ago, wow. Andrew's going to try to air this one out. He cocked it back and couldn't release it. No one was there, but Frederick Austin was there to bring him down, and that will take us to halftime. I don't see any flags on the field, and referee Tim Porter holds up the ball. So, Corey, we have finally reached halftime. What an interesting second quarter after an early turnover, an interception by Sidney Williams. Quick touchdown by Vigor. That's been our action. But besides that, it's been between the 30s or maybe the 20s, you would say.
Yeah, you set up that short field Vigor did on their initial score, and then able to hold them off on the 1-yard line. That was a huge stop by the Vigor in the first half.
Let's take it down to Kimberly Dunn. She's on the sideline with one of the coaches right now.
Coach, how do you feel about your team's performance so far tonight?
I'm even keel. I'm proud that they sticking in because they just thought they were going to come out. But we in that territory, we got to score. But I'm proud of them. And I told them we always play hard. So I'm kind of pleased with them at the same time. Versus a team like that, you got to capitalize.
Yeah. Well, y'all were able to just capitalize on a turnover right there. So how are you feeling about that?
We playing well. We still not at the top of our game, but, hey, we doing well.
Yeah, so what are some things you're going to tell your players that you need to improve on?
Keep your head up, believe, and just keep driving. We had a great plan against them. Yeah. Told you, we had a great plan.
Yeah. All right, Coach, I'll let you get with your team. Thank you.
Hey, Kimberly, we appreciate that. Probably one of the most calmest moments we've seen Coach Sumter, but he's right. We got to keep our head in it, but we have to capitalize when we're in Vigor territory.
Playing with confidence, that's so very important for this team in the second half moving forward. Wolfpack did a good job holding them back at the 1-yard line. We'll see what happens in the second half.
All right, halftime's headed your way. Vigor's on top 6-0. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Let's take it down to the field and take a look at the CF Vigor High School Marching Wolfpack Band.
Now the man perform your precision drill. Now the band perform another precision drill to Sweet Water. Miss Ellis. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Precision in motion. I'm Real by Jennifer Lopez. Show your love for the downward dog. Our principal, Mr. Gerald Cunningham, assistant principal, Diane Patterson, hotel manager, assistant director band, Ashley Yates, director band, Detroit Samuel Second, this has been a Loose Tech Band production, and we're saying peace, and we're out.
The sounds of the CF Vigor marching Wolfpack band as they exit the field. And right now we're going to take it down to the field. It's Kimberly Dunn. It's the Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge.
All right, we are here for our Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge tonight, and I have two very special guests that are here with me tonight. This is Christian Crawford, and you're 10 years old, is that right?
Yes.
And she is actually the captain of these beautiful cheerleaders that you see here tonight, and they are from Maryville Elementary School, and they come to every Williamson home game. And here with her is Crystalyn Brown, and you're 11, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so what do y'all want to be when you... Oh, and you're the co-captain. Okay, so we have captain and co-captain, the best of both worlds right here. So what do y'all want to be when you grow up?
A gymnast and a teacher.
A gymnast and a teacher? What about you?
I want to do a gymnast teacher and a cheerleading coach.
And a cheerleading coach. Well, it looks like y'all are in the right profession because you have your cheerleading outfits. Are y'all ready to answer my question tonight?
Yes.
All right, and if y'all answer it correctly, you get this wonderful prize pack that has some Chick-fil-A goodies in it, as well as like a really cool cup. So are you ready? All right, here's the question. How many feet are in a yard? Is it 3, 4, 5, or 6?
3.
3, you got it right. Did you just guess?
Yes.
Good job, you got it right on the first try. All right, so y'all can share this little prize pack together. Thank you. I know you're freezing, but thank y'all for talking with me tonight.
You're welcome.
Great job, Kimberly, on the Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge, and all year long, great job with that. And thanks to our folks over there at Chick-fil-A for providing us with the Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge. Right now, we're going to provide some more sounds. It's the Williamson Lions, the mighty marching Williamson Lions Band. Let's enjoy.
Under the direction of Mr. Bernard Jackson, Central Band Director, Danielle Porter, we introduce to you and you know it wouldn't be that same old little beat without some sweet old candy. Lionesses be dancing to Scream by Usher.
Sounds of the mighty marching Williamson High School Band. We're going to take a break and come back and wrap up halftime. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Thanks to those teachers, and if you are interested in becoming a teacher or have a desire or calling, log on to mcpss.com. Right now, let's take it down to the field. Kimberly Dunn is with Coach Derek Scott.
How do you feel about your team's performance so far tonight?
We're not playing real well right now. We got a lot of stuff we got to correct and got to get better at.
Yeah, so what did you say to your team to motivate them for the second half to make those corrections?
It's all about playing the Vigor style. That's it.
Yeah. All right, Coach, I'll let you get with your team. Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly. Coach Derek Scott right there, Corey, looking somewhat a bit dejected, not very positive. I know he's down right now, and he's the type of coach, a game like this isn't just a get ready for next week. He wants to win tonight right now.
Yeah, he probably preached all week in practice that they have to come in mentally ready to win this game.
Right.
And you look at the penalty situation, 7 penalties for 70 yards by the Vigor Wolves, 5 for 35 by the Williamson Lions. I guarantee he peeled the paint and heated things up in that Vigor Wolves locker room. The second half, I think you'll see a different Wolfpack team because he really got their attention at halftime, as each and every coach did, because this is not what we're used to and accustomed to by the Vigor Wolves. Credit to the other coaching staff. Coach, you look at Coach Sumter having his team prepared and ready. He said he had an outstanding and excellent game plan in mind. They've been able to execute that game plan. Like you said, he left 6 out on the field at the 1-yard line, not being able to punch it in. But you have to give a valiant effort and just trying to punch it in, just knowing what's at stake, trying to get a little momentum going into the playoffs. You look at the total yardage. Vigor has 23 rushing yards in the first half, 18 passing, only 41 yards of total offense by this Wolfpack team. Williamson, on the other hand, has 28 yards rushing, 82 yards passing for 110 total yards. You look at Cedric Andrews, the quarterback who's thrown 1 interception for the Williamson Lions, is 7 out of 13. You also look at Kyle Walker, only 3 out of 6 for the Wolfpack. I think you'll see that number increase and improve in the second half. And it must increase and improve. Only 41 total yards of offense by the Vigor Wolves. You really don't see that too often. 1 turnover apiece by each of these teams. And the 1 turnover that has really come over and really bitten the Williamson Lions was that turnover on a short field. Which allowed Vigor to score early in the first quarter. Since then, the Williamson Lions have done a wonderful job stepping up to the plate. But plenty of football left here to go. 24 minutes of exciting high school football action for the third consecutive week. Want to thank John Vella for those halftime statistics and keeping us on top of everything. Always does a wonderful job streaming for AL.com and keeping everybody abreast to what's going on in this Twitter world also. And just want to thank him all season long for doing an outstanding job when he's here statistically for us.
Definitely helps out, shows the dedication and passion he has towards the high school game, just as we do, Corey. You talked about the letdown right now, if you want to call it. Vigor comes into this ball game averaging 35.4 points a contest, only 6 points on the board. And the way you gave off those statistical numbers, and we saw it, pretty much that first half dominated offensively by the Williamson Lions. And guess what? Who's going to receive the ball in the second half? The Williamson Lions.
Here's an interesting fact about Williamson. They're 6-44 all time since 2000 when scoring less than 10 points. So they want to get on the board and get in a good situation here to start the second half.
And right now they are in a good situation as that ball being brought up to about the 46, maybe 47-yard line. Antoine Thomas bringing it up there as they take the second half kickoff.
And Al, on the flip side of that, Williamson is 63-3 since 2000 when allowing 10 points or less since 2000. So something has to change in that trend if you're the Williamson Lion. You hope it goes your defensive way.
That's right.
Because right now, Vigor only has 6 points on the board. If you can keep them scoreless right here and come away with a touchdown and an extra point, you'll keep that trend going in a positive direction since 2000.
Keeps it right in their wheelhouse. So 1st and 10, ball on their own 46-yard line. Lions coming out here in the second half. We know in the first quarter, early on, I believe actually before the first play, Coach Sumter had to burn a timeout.
And it looks like he's going to do it again.
Corey, I really going to have to play my lucky lotto numbers. We have a timeout by Williamson coach Dedrick Sumter. So since we have a timeout, let's take a look at 6A Region 1 standings right now here in the area. Take a peek at this one right here. We know in Saraland that battle is going on, so whoever wins that game is going to be Region 1 champ between Saraland and Spanish Fort. St. Paul's gets into the playoffs. I know a few people around the area had predicted they would, moving up from 5A to 6A. And the battle for 4th place right now, Blunt and Daphne going head-to-head, and that's pretty much looking like whoever wins that's going to get in. As you can see at the bottom, Spanish Fort, Saraland, whoever wins that ball game, they'll get a home game. St. Paul's, we have to travel to Opelika. Daphne up right now 6-0 over Blunt. So that's a win. That's a loser-leave town battle right there, Corey.
Saraland up 10-7 over Spanish Fort at halftime, and that's another outstanding game. St. Paul's up 16-6 over Robertsdale in the second quarter.
So there's your look at your 6A region, and I didn't make mention of it, but I will now. At the bottom, someone will get a win tonight between BC Rain and Gulf Shores. Both of those teams are winless this season.
JaQuinton Shaw just squirting his way through that offensive line. He's a little fella at 5'5", 155-pound junior. Little in stature, but plays with a huge heart. He has extreme quickness when he gets on the perimeter. It's kind of hard for him to maneuver around that big defensive line that the Wolfpack does have. Going to bring up 2nd down and 9 for the Williamson Lions.
Yeah, we've seen Shaw squint and squirt a lot so far in this ball game tonight, but just haven't seen him really scat out and really get some yards as he accustomedly does typically here. So 2nd down, as you just mentioned, about 9 yards for the Williamson Lions. They look a little confused right now in this formation. The play clock hits 0. Thought they were going to get it off, but they don't. Wow. So Coach Sumter had to burn a timeout rather than taking that 5-yard penalty, Corey. So that is 2 timeouts in less than a minute and maybe 8 seconds, I believe.
And that really hurts if you're the Williamson Lions, because could you have used those timeouts to end the first half? Most definitely. And now trailing 6-0, you know you want to save those timeouts. You might have even wanted to take the penalty on one of those 2 plays to keep those timeouts in your back pocket.
All right, let's take a look at 7A Region 1 standings. We'll get that up right now. This region pretty much locked down. Theodore picks up the Region 1 championship over McGill and Fairhope and Davidson. That's a big ball game tonight, I believe. Fairhope and McGill doing battle as well foreshadowed early in the year as possibly a ball game for the region title. So right now, those 4 teams are in the playoffs for 7A Region 1. Theodore will be hosting a playoff game this season.
Theodore's up 14-3 at halftime over Enterprise. And you also look at Mary G. Montgomery and Baker. Baker leading MGM 28-6.
There's a look at the 7-1 round 1 playoff setups right there. A little quick out to Braylon Franks. And that play pretty much goes nowhere but backwards. So on Williamson's first possession here in the second half, it's going back with 3rd down now for the Lions as Coach Sumter has had to burn 2 timeouts.
Taurus Russell Jr., the 5'10", 180-pound senior, comes up and makes the stop for the Wolfpack. And the Wolfpack really want to force the Williamson Lions to punt in this situation so they can get it in gear offensively. So far, 2 minutes taken off of the clock by this Williamson Lions to start the 3rd quarter.
Goes across the middle trying to catch up with Jacob Hatch. Incomplete. And it takes Williamson a 4th down as Coach Sumter talking to Nehemiah Richardson on the sideline right there saying, what route were you running, young man?
Adolph Craig from his middle linebacker position does a wonderful job disrupting that play. You look at number 6, right in the heart of the defense, does a good job of stepping up and stopping Jacob Hatch, forcing Jacob Hatch to turn around and again punt the football for the Williamson Lions. The play clock never reset itself. Now it's just now resetting itself here. 10:03 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Vigor's due to get some good field position right here.
You're right. Artel Howell setting up about 17 yards away from the line of scrimmage, waiting this punt. Not showing much respect to Jacob Hatch there as he fields it at about the 34-yard line. Cuts back, cuts up the middle. Flag comes in. So we'll take it down to the field and see what the call is going to be from Tim Porter.
Well, I know we had a lot of penalties, I think 12 total in the first half by both teams, and that's going to draw another penalty flag on the return. Artel Howell does a good job catching it over his shoulder and changing direction, but if you can't see the numbers of the guy in front of you, it's probably going to be a block in the back on the return, which is going to put the Wolfpack deeper in their own territory.
Block in the back, so Vigor being pushed back. We saw that penalty a few times last week when we were up at Blunt for that Blunt-Saraland overtime matchup. And you said the same thing last week, Corey.
Return, block in the back on the receiving team. Penalty is 10 yards. 1st down.
They are going to call it every time, so you got to make sure you are not doing that incorrectly. So 9:47 here remaining in the 3rd quarter. Al Whedon, Corey LeBounty, Kimberly Dunn on the sidelines. It's our last telecast of the season. Williamson versus Vigor, and right now the score is 6-0. Vigor on top, and a flag comes in. Some movement at the line of scrimmage. Pre-snap penalty, offsides against Williamson. That's a free 5 for the Wolfpack.
Great job of the quarterback,
Dead
Kyle
ball.
Walker.
Offsides, the defensive team. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
It's one of those where his inflection of his voice takes that hard count. The Williamson Lions get caught up not looking at the football. Very similar to what happened to the Wolfpack in back-to-back early penalties in the 1st quarter.
1st and 5, ball at the 34-yard line. Walker tosses it. That's high. That is a live ball. Can Whitsitt fall on it? They're fighting and tussling for it, but they believe they're going to call him down right there at about the 16-yard line. Boy, that could have been disaster for the Vigor Wolves if that ball could have been picked up by Williamson.
Without a doubt, or if it would have rolled out of bounds, worst case scenario. But you look at now the situation, the pitch was a little bit high. It was definitely a design option over the head of Whitsitt, and that's kind of hard to do when you look at Whitsitt being listed at 6 foot, 200 pounds. The toss went probably about 6'3" instead of 5'11". Good pressure by the Williamson Lions forcing that errant toss.
2nd and 17, low snap, and up the middle comes the Williamson Lions, but that pass complete, but no yards will be gained. Pretty much right at the line of scrimmage as he gets it out to Artel Howell, and Williamson all over Kyle Walker and that play, Corey.
It was snapped right to his face mask, and because of it, outstanding job defensively by Anthony Johnson. Anthony Johnson coming now from his defensive end position, 6'2", 175-pound freshman, being very active. Again, that wasn't a tackle for a loss, but that was definitely a disruption in the play. And because of it, the Wolfpack seemed a little bit discombobulated on that drive, to where you had the errant option pitch, and then you have a snap that hits the face mask, just something that you really want to clean up. Coach Scott continues not to be happy over there on the sidelines.
As he calls the timeout. Since we have a timeout, let's talk about Greer's Apples for the Students. Greer's Market is once again teaming up with Mobile County Public Schools for the 10th annual Apples for the Students program. Unlike traditional fundraisers, Apples for the Students is easy and fun. Best of all, everyone in the community can take part. It's simple. You shop, save your receipts, and turn them in at school, and the school can earn valuable items like computers and school supplies. So shop Greer's Market for the Apples for the Students program. Play close to resuming back here again, Corey, and you're right, discombobulation for the Wolfpack Nation. They call it the school that Spirit built, but you could see the spirit from the Williamson Lions after that timeout was called by Derek Scott.
And a nice crowd out here for the Williamson Lions on senior night, as many seniors were honored before the game in the band, cheerleaders, all auxiliary, as well as football players. And let's see what's dialed up here by the Wolfpack.
Walker rolls out. Ball looked like it was possibly tipped by one of the Lions defenders, but the catch is made for about a 7, maybe 8-yard gain for Vigor. Right, so
nice
Howell on there.
You look at the pass, Kyle Walker rolling out to his right and finds his favorite wide receiver off of the tip. Good concentration by Artel Howell. 5'10", 175-pound senior. Going to bring up 4th down and 2 yards to go for the Vigor Wolves. They're going to be forced to punt, and receiving the punt will be JaQuinton Shaw for the Williamson Lions.
Gave him a little breathing room there for Vigor. DeAnthony Walker with the punt, and Vigor's going to down it right about at the Williamson 40-yard line.
Going to be imperative for this Williamson offense to get something going. We saw them strike in the red zone, but just, again, it was a situation to where the Wolfpack defense stopped them at the 1-yard line early in the first quarter. So let's see if they're able to have any momentum moving the sticks on this drive.
Coming up soon, we'll give you the Game of the Week Brain Buster. It'll be our last one of the season. We'll put the question out there and see if you can come up with the answer. Speaking of a brain buster, here's a little quick one for you, Corey. Playoff appearances for Williamson. The last time they had back-to-back was in 2006 and 2007. In 07, they made it all the way to the semifinals before losing to St. Paul's right here at Ladd-Peebles Stadium. Corey, would you like to guess who was the quarterback of that St. Paul's team that year?
I think I may have
I think you may know this one pretty good.
I may have an idea in mind.
What do you think it is?
I think it's very similar. I will say this. Going down to Death Valley tomorrow, this is a quarterback that I think had a little success in Death Valley.
You saw him last night on TV, as a matter of fact.
We did. We did.
And who would it be?
One and only AJ.
There you go. There you go. AJ McCurran was a quarterback when they lost that game to St. Paul's right here. And they went on and got the state title, St. Paul's did. Incomplete, as that pass is intended for Nehemiah Richardson. The Wolves were jumping on it as if that was a lateral, Corey.
And you have to be active because you want to play until you hear a whistle, and sometimes that whistle is delayed to make sure that the play is dead, because once that whistle is blown, it becomes dead, and you're not able to reverse that situation. So now 3rd down and 9 yards to go for the Williamson Lions from their own 41-yard line.
Not able to take advantage of the good field position they received after that punt from DeAnthony Walker. 7:32 remains here in the 3rd quarter, and you can kind of get a sense or a vibe that Williamson has been 1 or 2 plays away from breaking one and busting one to get back in the ball game here.
Well, I see where the middle of the field has been kind of nice to the Williamson Lions, so it'll be interesting to see if they're able to throw any passes to the middle of the field.
He's got Richardson open at the numbers, going up for a jump ball situation, and Corey, look there after the tip drill, it falls in the hand of Nehemiah Richardson for a big 1st down, and what a play.
And that's one of the biggest and most exciting tip drill plays. We saw that 1 week ago at Blunt, the concentration that it takes, but that was a double tip. You look at the pass, being thrown that was on the money by Cedric Andrews. Threw it to the numbers. The ball was kept in play, a jump ball situation. You look at the defenders going up. Sidney Williams tips it. Then you have Richardson tip it. And then Richardson finds a way to come away with it falling forward. 1st and 10, Williamson Lions.
Double stack receivers for the Lions. They hand off to JaQuinton Shaw. He's weaving his way up the middle, keeping those legs going, picking up about 3 or 4 yards on the play. Great concentration by Richardson right there, hauling that ball in. Kind of similar to that halfback toss that Braylon Franks threw to him, but both of the Vigor defenders at that time knocked it down in the end zone as Williamson tried to get on the scoreboard earlier in the second quarter. 2nd down right here for Williamson. Back to Shaw they go again. He picks up maybe 1 or 2 as they want to get the run game involved here.
And it's very interesting, Famous Davis's choice to run right at the heart and the gut of Fred Austin and Jamarcus Lewis, 2 of the bigger defenders on this defensive line for the Vigor Wolves. But if you're able to do that, you're able to neutralize the speed of the defensive ends. DeAnthony Walker and Desmond Little have not called their name a lot tonight,
right,
because they haven't been running it to the outside. Everything has been run to the interior between the guard and tackle, and that way Desmond Little and DeAnthony Walker don't become factors in the game because they have great pass rushing ability.
Score scrolling in right there. I saw the last score. Gulf Shores on top of BC Rain, 14-13 in the 3rd. As I said earlier, someone will get that win tonight. Teams will not be winless. Incomplete. That pass well over the head of the intended receiver, and it puts Williamson in a situation where they have 4th and 5 in no man's land, too far away to kick the field goal, too close to punt it. What are you going to do here, Cor?
I think you definitely go for it. It's a situation to where, again, I feel that as they continue to spread the field, this is where you probably would have liked to use one of your timeouts.
Bingo.
But you've already used 2 early,
right, probably
in the first 2 minutes of the 3rd quarter. So now you have to get the offensive coordinator's call, Famous Davis, into your quarterback, Cedric Andrews. And I just think the middle of the field is where you want to go.
Richardson in the slot at the near numbers right here. Play clock under 5 seconds. Andrews needs to get this off. He looks off the halfback and tries to go to Hatch, and incomplete. So ball over on downs. So the Vigor defense stands. Now Williamson took benefit of that little tip drill pass, but then they go 3 and out right there on the last drive right here.
Jamarcus Lewis doing a good job of putting the pressure on Cedric Andrews, and that's exactly where they went to. They did go to the middle of the field, and I think that's where the most success can be had tonight by this Williamson Lions defense, and they weren't able to complete that pass because of the great pressure by Jamarcus Lewis. And now the Vigor Wolves have really struggled offensively to put anything together, especially on long drives. We saw them score on a short field, but let's see with 5:42 if they're able to have any success.
Kyle Walker gets it out to James Jackson, and he is wrapped all up by Braylon Franks. So that pass actually is incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Big incomplete pass because now you're bringing up 2nd down and 10 yards to go instead of a 2nd down and short yardage situation. The Wolfpack don't have over 75 yards of total offense tonight, and that's kind of hard to believe, indicative of our score 6-0 in favor of the Wolfpack, who did all the scoring in the 1st quarter.
And also the big heart that the Williamson Lions play with. Corey, Jalen Whitson with a big run right there around the top edge of the screen. So he picks up maybe 4 or 5, kind of gets Vigor out of the doghouse there. We'll have maybe a 2nd and 3 or maybe a 2nd and 4 here. 3rd and 4 coming up for Vigor.
You look at the running back, Whitson tripped up by number 22, Keenan Young. Keenan Young, 5'10", 165-pound senior, coming up from his safety position, making a nice stop, bringing up 3rd down and 4 yards to go.
Walker looking up to the sideline to get the call. Lad Peebles calling it 3rd and 3, but I'm with you. It's a long 3rd and 3 here for the Vigor Wolves. Little quick toss out to Artel Howell. He's got some blocking. Well, Jackson can't really block the guy from behind, but Howell escapes. He does it all on his own, Corey, and gets the 1st down for the Vigor Wolves.
And Braylon Franks is very frustrated at himself because he had an opportunity to tackle him for a loss or no gain, worst case scenario. But credit the great job by Artel Howell. Puts on the brakes. Nice circle. Mashes the circle button. Frank's not able to rack him up. You look at Antoine Thomas, not able to wrap him up. Positive yards being gained by Artel Howell, moving the sticks for the Wolfpack.
1st and 10, ball sitting at the 37-yard line of Vigor. 4:25 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Wolves on top 6-0 over Williamson. High snap. Walker brings it down. He does get it out to Artel Howell once again. He's just going to try to stay in bounds. He does pick up a couple, so he scraps together about 5 or 6 yards there, Corey.
I love the fact that he's mashed the circle button on the left side of the field and the right side of the field, making all the defenders miss. And that's something that when you practice that, you're able to master it. And he's making defenders miss with the purpose, being able to hit that spin move, and he's hitting it at a very effective time, being able to pick up positive yards. Going to bring up 2nd down and 4 yards to go for the Wolfpack.
Wolves taking their time, looking over to the sideline for the call. Walker has time, looking for a receiver, and down the middle, blazing down the field, cannot connect with Sidney Williams. Corey, that could have been 6. He overthrew him.
Yeah, split the defenders in the middle of the field right up the hash, and just probably 2 yards too far. You look at Kyle Walker having a clean pocket. He's definitely eyeballing Sidney Williams, and Sidney Williams could have probably stretched out to try to catch that football, did not, and because of it, now brings up a 3rd down and a long 4 yards to go for the Wolfpack.
Kind of like you said earlier, Sidney Williams 6'2". That one may have been about 6'6" in the air, Corey. A bit too high for him. 3rd down right now. Play clock under 10 seconds. Decision has to happen. This ball needs to get off. High snap. Walker's just trying to scramble together, and he cannot get the 1st down.
And the interesting part about that formation is the Williamson Lions are giving Artel Howell a 10-yard cushion,
right,
to where if that's a clean snap, Kyle Walker's able to quickly audible or throw that to Artel Howell out in the flat, and you're not going to catch him because when he looks north and south, he has blazing speed, folks, but the the high snap leads to Vigor coming up with a long 4th down and 3 yards to go. Going to bring up their punter in this situation, and it's something that Vigor has really had to do a lot of tonight, DeAnthony Walker.
JaQuinton Shaw setting up at his own 25-yard line, and it's a fake. It's a fake. The Vigor Wolves are going to get the 1st down, taking that fake snap, Jamarcus Snow, and he takes it to the hash and gets the 1st down, so Coach Scott rolls the dice and keeps the drive going.
That momentum created by the up back, and the snap had to be good to the up back. 4th down and 2 yards to go. A long 2.5 now leads to the Wolfpack getting it across midfield. Maybe that's the injection or the shot of energy that the Wolfpack really need to get things going. Now Tim Porter and his crew are discussing things on the far sidelines right in front of Vigor's bench.
I don't recall seeing any flags near there, Corey, but they are
unsportsmanlike.
So an unsportsmanlike will be cited against Williamson. So that's 15 yards for the Wolfpack.
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct on the goal team. It's a 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. 1st down.
That's a big ouch right there.
And if I'm not mistaken, this is the deepest that the Vigor Wolves have been in Lion territory since the 1st quarter when the Williamson Lions turned the football over.
You're right, Cora. You're right. And I believe someone may have jumped across the line for Williamson. That's going to be another 5 you can tack on for Vigor.
And that's something at this point in time Williamson does not want to do. They don't want to self-destruct in this situation.
On the defense, 5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
Got to keep your composure right here. I'm pretty sure Coach Sumter is preaching that to the team. So now 1st and 5, ball on the 33-yard line of Williamson, and Vigor driving, trying to get into the red zone to end up in the end zone. Walker's got plenty of time. He's got a guy across the middle, and you know who it is, Artel Howard for a 28-yard touchdown connection.
Yeah, you knew you were only going to be able to keep this young man down for so long. He has such blazing speed. the favorite wide receiver. Excellent job of Kyle Walker going to his secondary progression. Looked to his right, pump fake to the right, and knew exactly where his favorite wide receiver was going to be. And look at the head, look at the eyes down the field. Throws a strike to Artel Howell, catches him in stride. He scores his 9th touchdown of the season. That's a big one for the Wolfpack.
Dylan Starworth on for the extra point. Missed his first one earlier tonight in the first quarter. And that PAT is up, and it is good. So Vigor jumps out 13-0 right now on top of Williamson. 1:51 remaining in the third quarter. And let's go ahead and put our Game of the Week brain buster question out. Of course, the last one of the year. Overall, you've done fairly well. I've got to give it to you. So let's put it out here. Can you name the running back who led the Vigor Wolves with 197 all-purpose yards in the 2008 championship game, and he was not named the MVP of that game? So think about that one. We'll come back to it later on. There's your Game of the Week brain buster. We talked about the year of the 8s for the Vigor Wolves. They won a championship in '88, won one in 2008, didn't win in 1998. And Corey, this is 2018.
Yeah, it's a situation for them. They said 7 is a lucky number, but again, for the Wolfpack, that will come in 4s in that situation as far as the ending number being an 8. And a big-time score by the Wolfpack on that drive. That was a nice drive, 8 plays, 77 yards by the Wolfpack that produced 7 points instead of 6.
DeAnthony Walker scoots that one up the middle, and JaQuinton Shaw has to fall on it, but the Wolves are around him as well. And we have to determine who's going to have the ball. And Tim Porter is putting the signal up that it will be Williamson's football there. Boy, if that could have gotten away, it would have been disaster for Williamson. Okay, parents, it's time to get connected with Parent Connect. Join Carmen Bounds and Paula Reese as they look into district-wide policies that concern your child's and their school. You can catch them weekly right here on the MCPSS TV network. 1st and 10 for Williamson on their own 13-yard line. Corey, I think they may have lost maybe 15, 16 yards on that bobble try to return there, if you want to call it, just landing on the ball some kind of way.
That was a live ball situation.
Wow.
After it goes 10 yards, but you do put yourselves in a bad situation as they try to stretch this Vigor defense to the outside, and that's one of the first times tonight that they've tried to bounce it to the outside, and no success. As my main man, I finally get to call his name being active on the play, Desmond Little.
Yeah, you're right. It's been a while.
Who has offers from Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Ole Miss. You definitely don't see too many 6'5", 225 defensive ends, but this young man has a tremendous motor, is a great pass rusher, and can be a definite difference maker in the game.
2nd down for the Lions. 2nd and 12, so a 2-yard loss given to JaQuinton Shaw on that run. I don't believe it, but Cedric Andrews has called timeout, Corey. So Williamson out of timeouts. He had to burn one. Looked like there was some confusion down on the field. Well, we got a break right here. Got to thank our folks over there at Jersey Mike's once again. All year been taking care of us Jersey Mike's sub since 1956. Corey, tonight it was delicious. Every night it was delicious. And got to thank Jersey Mike's for what they've been doing.
Mark and Christina Sinclair, owner of 4 Jersey Mike's, one in Malbis. You have one soon to be opening in Saraland.
Okay.
You also have a location on Airport Boulevard across from Academy Sports, and one on Dolphin Street across from McConnell Automotive.
And a moment of personal privilege, one right here next to me. Young man, I hear you're going to be joining the Jersey Mike's team.
I am going to join Jersey Mike's team. Proud to be a part of boosting their catering sales. And again, we had a lovely catering box brought to us tonight thanks to Al Whedon picking it up and bringing it to the crew. And
no problem.
They've been fed Jersey Mike's all season long. A sub above Jersey Mike's.
And also our folks at Future Ones, all year long they've been behind us, especially during that October month where we had different polo colors to talk about and give awareness to the different awareness weeks in the month of October. So thanks to Future Ones as well for being there for us too. Williamson gets that ball out to JaQuinton Shaw on the pass there out of the backfield. Only gains a couple of yards, so it's going to be 3rd and about 6 or maybe 7 here, Corey. And after burning that timeout, I just cannot believe that Williamson's out of timeouts and we have not hit the 4th quarter.
Yeah, 1 block away from turning that up into a first down situation. Weren't able to do so, but this is a huge 3rd down for the Williamson Lions. We're going to call it 3rd down and 7 yards officially. And Williamson is a situation to where they're going to have to run a play before the quarter ends.
Right.
14 seconds remaining on the game clock, 6 seconds remaining on the play clock.
About a 5-second differential. They need to get this one off. And a statement we've said a few times tonight. Looks like a flag on the play. And it will go against Williamson.
And that's something that you probably would have liked to seen them do earlier, just take a penalty.
Ball, for the snap, false start on the yellow team.
Instead of burning that timeout that
Yeah,
they had to
I mean,
do. So there's the 5 yards you just lost back right there. Wow.
You're in a situation now where you're at 3rd down and 12 instead of 3rd down and 7, and time will expire here in the 3rd quarter.
So the game clock has zeros as we enter the 4th quarter of our last telecast of the season. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Vigor on top, 13-0 right now. Don't move. We'll be back. Welcome back to the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Al Wheaton, Corley Bound, and Kimberly Dunn down on the sidelines as we head into the 4th quarter of this ball game. We'll try to get it up for you right quick. I believe the play may be headed our way. Let's see here. Game of the Week brainbuster question. Can you name the running back who led the Vigor Wolves with 197 all-purpose yards in the 2008 championship game, and he was not named the MVP? We'll give you the answer after this play. And that play actually goes nowhere. Maybe we can save it after the punt, change of possession, because that's going to take us to 4th down. So if we can hold on 1 second, looks like we're possibly going to have a punt right here, guys.
I know that they were stacked at the running back position that year that they won the state championship.
They were, Corey. They were. But this person was not the MVP of that ball game. But it is someone, I'll give you a clue, who has been in the news recently.
Does he have a new team?
I am not at liberty to say that.
Okay.
Jacob Hatch in the end zone right now, awaiting the snap. Gets it off. Looked like it was possibly tipped there, Corey. As it's going to get up right to about the midfield stripe, just past it. So Williamson down at the 45-yard line. So let's put it up again for you if we can. Game of the Week brainbuster question. Can you name the running back who led the Vigor Wolves with 197 all-purpose yards in the 2008 championship game, and he was not named the MVP of the game? Corey, who would you like to say that is?
I'm going to go with a guy by the nickname of Nudie.
All right, and the answer is? Guys in the truck will bring it up. Jalston Fowler had 3 touchdowns in the game, 163 yards rushing, 2 catches for 27 yards receiving, but recently now reunited with the Tennessee Titans once again, Corey.
Playing a little Monday Night Football this Monday night against the Dallas Cowboys. He'll be back in action, blocking for his old college teammate Derrick Henry, so you have to be excited for Nudie, a.k.a. Jalston Fowler.
Good job there, Corey. He played with the Titans before, got released, and now been picked back up. So a good, as we like to say, local kid does well once again.
And another penalty flag on the play. Is that something that's not new to our ball game here at all? Because that probably makes flag number 17 on the game.
False start. Offensive team, 5-yard penalty, first down.
So that pushes the Wolves back a couple of yards. So it's going to be 1st and 15, ball at their own 41-yard line. But as I said, Corey, you've done a great job on the season with the Brain Busters. I'm proud of you.
You've had some tough ones, Al. I mean, and folks, don't think that I know the answer prior to, because he doesn't give it to me before. I just really have to guess, and he's done a great job of really busting my brain some days.
Walker gets that one out, but too high, incomplete. And it takes Vigor to 2nd down here as he was trying to get that ball out to his receiver out there in the flat. So 2nd down for the Wolves coming up here.
And the Wolfpack trying to capitalize and continue to gain off of this 13-0 lead that they have over the Williamson Lions early here in the fourth quarter. And again, you look at this Vigor team. This Vigor team has had an outstanding season so far defensively. And you look at Williamson has scratched and clawed throughout this game. They still have 0 points on the board.
Yeah, you're right about that.
So if you're going to take something away, if you're Coach Scott, you have to say, we played a great defensive game so far.
Definitely have. Just haven't had the opportunity to drop in offensively. James Jackson with the reception. Gets past the line of scrimmage, picks up a couple there, so that'll take Vigor to third down. We'll call it maybe 3rd and 7 here. They're trying to get to the midfield stripe, but actually get the first down. The line to make will be the Williamson 44-yard line.
And it's going to be important for the Wolfpack to continue to try to get time off of this clock, not throw any incompletions, keep the ball in play, and the clock is their friend at this point in time. The Williamson Lions have burned all 3 timeouts, so they won't be able to stop it for the remainder of the game, which to me will be critical as we come to the conclusion of tonight's contest.
Little fake to Whitsett on a play action, and they catch the big guy over the middle, and that is Ronald Cooper, the tight end, and he takes it up the gut to about the 25-yard line of Williamson.
You take a look at the replay. Kyle Walker definitely knew he wanted to go to Cooper on the free release. Nobody even touches him or counts for him. He's 6'2", 220 pounds as a senior, picks up his 9th reception, came into tonight's contest having 2 touchdown receptions, 8 receptions for 58 yards, make that 9 receptions now for almost 70 yards on the season for Mr. Ronald Cooper.
Great play call right there for the Vigor Wolves. Kyle Walker, senior quarterback, literally just taking his time. No need to rush here. Play clock under 10, but he will get that snap off. Drains the clock all the way down to zeros. Jalen Whitsett drained right there by the Williamson Lions, brought down for a loss.
Good job of running down the line of scrimmage by the Williamson Lions, creating a loss, but staying in bounds where the Wolfpack going to bring up 2nd down and 15 yards to go for Vigor.
Vigor sitting at the 30-yard line here of Williamson, in control 13-0 as we're under 9 minutes remaining in the ball game. And Corey, our last ball game of the season. Had a great year with you, buddy.
It's gone by so fast, just
Wow.
like this fourth quarter is for the Wolfpack.
Walker looking, has a couple guys deep, but he's going to keep it himself because he has a lot of yards in front of him he could pick up. But a flag does come in as Walker was trying to decide what to do with the ball, and we know what that's going to be, holding against the Vigor Wolves.
And it's a situation to where when you have that much time, those big old linemen are sitting there holding on for dear life, literally, in that situation, hoping that the quarterback is able to create something before the holding is seen. It's going to cost a lot of yardage. They were already at 3rd down and 15 yards to go.
During the play, holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay, 2nd.
So, Corey, the line of scrimmage is the 25-yard line. Right now, the line of scrimmage is the 50.
2nd down and 35 yards to go.
Wow.
Now for the Wolfpack.
Not expecting that this drive would have been going backwards like this. Now, Ladd has it at 3rd and 35, but the down marker official has it at 2nd down. Little screen right there, that's the call to make. And Cooper can't go anywhere as he is wrapped up by the Lions. And I believe now it is officially 3rd down.
Keenan Young doing a good job coming up from his safety position on that delayed screen by the Wolfpack, making sure they're not able to really gain any additional yardage after the pass is complete. Bring up now probably a 3rd down and 26 yards to go.
And Walker simply taking his time as he should do, showing that strong senior leadership there, letting the game clock and play clock run down. Blitz was on, and Walker trying to escape it. He was wrapped up, tried to get it out to Artel Howell, incomplete. So that'll take Vigor to 4th down.
Good job of Kyle Walker being able to get that football out and beyond the line of scrimmage as he was able to find Artel Howell in that area. And you were thinking that maybe the strip may come by the Williamson Lions from behind, but Walker with the strength was able to push it out to Howell incomplete, bring up a punting situation for the Wolfpack.
DeAnthony Walker at his own 40-yard line awaiting the snap. Last time Vigor tried to punt, they pulled off a fake and got the 1st down, which led to that score. They just wrapped up the 3rd quarter. So Vigor's going to down the ball right there about the 22-yard line. Corey, you had an opportunity to stop by the Crichton Optimist Club Player of the Week luncheon, and featuring right there Demetrius Inge. I see you in good company there, Corey.
Yeah, Demetrius Inge, the 6'2", 200-pound senior linebacker, had an outstanding week 1 week ago, had over 17 tackles, and the Crichton Optimist Club did a wonderful job recognizing him as the Defensive Player of the Week. And just a wonderful young man, delightful, brought his mother, and I do believe his sister as well. They were able to come to the banquet. So congratulations to Demetrius Inge from Williamson High School on that award.
Yeah, and special shout out to the Crichton Optimist Club for what they do for these young men each and every week for the entire season. They give tirelessly, recognizing them for their achievements on the field. That pass incomplete, Corey. Right now, 7 minutes remaining in the ball game. You can say the rubber's meeting the road right here for Coach Dedrick Sumter.
Yeah, I mean, you're in a situation to where you have to score here because you don't have any timeouts left. You don't want your drive to stall. Adolph Craig gets down and does push-ups because he was not able to come away with the interception. That's a drop pass, and that's one of the punishments, self-inflicted and self-learned. He gets mad at himself, and the coaching staff lets him know, let me knock out these push-ups for dropping that football and not coming away with the interception.
2nd and 10, ball on the 17. Andrews rolling out, decides to keep it, and he is brought down, wrapped up by the Vigor Wolves. Maybe 1 yard on that gain if they give him that. I think maybe he's back to the line of scrimmage, so no yards gained, Corey.
Jamarcus Lewis, the big defensive tackle, 6'1", 285 pounds, finding a way to grab the ankles of Mr. Cedric Andrews and making a stop. 3rd down, 10 yards to go now for the Lions.
Scores crawling in right there. You can see the battle of West Mobile. Baker on top of MGM 28-6, and Murphy over Bryant 14-6 in the 3rd quarter. Play clock under 5. They got to get it off to go with the draw play to JaQuinton Shaw, and he picks up maybe 5 or 6, but that's not enough for the 1st down. So it's 4th down for the Williamson Lions. Decision time here for Coach Sumter. And where he is on the field, this is definitely where you need to punt and flip the field and put the ball game right now on your defensive back, to see if they can try to get the ball back for you.
Yeah, it's a situation now that with no timeouts remaining deep in your own territory, the Williamson Lions have no choice but to punt this football away. And you know exactly what the Wolfpack want to do. They want to salt this game away, running the football with the dynamic running back that they do have in Jalen Whitsitt. And they've had a little success rushing the football, but not a lot.
Artel Howell fills the punt, just kind of takes his time, heads out of bounds, in control, on top 13-0, and right now the clock being their ally. So we're going to right now get some of the folks behind the scenes. They allow us to put this telecast together. There's our guy, Derek Williams, always doing a fine job, and Corey sporting his Florida State gear told us, hey, man, I still got to show my pride, brother.
Not mad at him at all. You're a diehard fan. You know you're a diehard fan and not on the fence.
Now we're going to take it over to Richard Beatty. Richard's on the sideline for us this year. Been doing some great shots and doing a great job for us. So thanks to Richard for also going through some of that bad weather we had a couple games there, Corey.
Sticking it out in the elements, still bringing us some great shots right there on the field.
1st and 10, Vigor in control right here, ball on 31-yard line. Walker is sacked and brought down. Taking to the 2nd down, that's going to be a loss. Now we're going to take it down to the field. If he can turn around for us, there's Leon Frazier. And Bruce Cannella right next to him. Not gonna say it, but probably one of the tallest guys and one of the shortest guys on the crew here, of course, side by side. Leon and Bruce Cannella. But they do a fine job, especially Bruce, man. He's actually a firefighter as well. I like to say his real-time job.
Want to thank him for his service to our city, and again, an outstanding crew that we have on the MCPSS television network.
Yeah, can't do it without these folks here getting the pictures and make them fly through the air for us. 2nd and 12. Walker with an empty back set. Set up a little screen, gets it out to James Jackson, and he's spinning and spinning but going nowhere, Corey, but a flag is on the play. I think that one may be coming back. Personal foul, not coming back, so there's a personal foul for roughing the passer there against Williamson.
We saw one earlier called against the Vigor Wolves that was nullified.
So we'll wait for and there's Larry Doc Richards. Corey, he's up high in the sky with us here in the press box area, but actually I think he may be a bit higher than us, actually.
Just a tad bit higher, about as high as you can go.
Up here at Lads Peoples Stadium as the guys zoom out, as you can see Doc's little hangout right there, maybe about the, 20, 25-yard line on the home side.
Doing a wonderful job as well, and again, this is just the best crew that you could ask for, just bringing you high-definition quality each and every week.
So after the penalty, it's 1st and 10 on the 21-yard line. Walker keeps it. He's got room up the middle for a big 8, maybe 9-yard gain.
Clock still salting itself away as on that penalty, they were able to give the Wolfpack additional yardage. And, you know, if the Wolfpack are able to punch one in here late, it won't be indicative of how close this game truly was. If they're able to punch one in, the scoreboard may say 19-0, because I know the Wolfpack definitely want to score here and keep the Williamson Lions at a 0 for the game. But, you know, you have to commend the Williamson Lions for coming out with a wonderful game plan and just battling real tough and limiting what Vigor was able to do offensively.
And off to Jalen Whitsitt. I think he may be a bit short there on the 1st down. We're going to take another look. There's our guy, my man, Big B, Brandon Barnes. He's up here on the west side, the home side of Ladd Stadium, catching those angles for us with the camera, doing a fine job getting the pictures out. I like kind of like a little stork's nest there, Corey, just kind of peeking out. And you scan over, we're just on the other side of him. 3rd and 1, so not enough for that 1st down. Whitsitt did not get it, so 1 yard remains as less than 3 minutes remains here in the contest.
Doing a good job of running the play clock almost down to 1 second before they snap that football.
Very smart of Vigor to do that. Clock is their ally, as we talked about it earlier. Up the middle goes Kyle Walker. That is enough for the 1st down.
And it'll be a 1st and goal situation now for the Vigor Wolves.
Now, Corey, this one right here, this is my favorite shot every year, the truck shot. There's the crew in the trucks. Our executive producer, guy in the red, Quentin Howard right there. You got Wade Ford directing, big Alabama fan. Fran Conaway, my man Fran, on the couch chilling. Look at him. Stewart Allgood back there handling the replays. Eric Lowe with audio. Miss Diane, always speak to Miss Diane, Corey. Always speak to Miss Diane. And Joseph Wells on the score. Miss Diane take care of you.
That's right.
That's right. Make sure you talk to Miss Diane, buddy. 1st and 8 right here. Walker throws it, gets it into the end zone. They are calling it a touchdown, but I believe we have a flag on the play, so a score into the end zone to Paul Jackson. Let's see if it'll stand after this call. So that's going to come back. It's holding.
Yeah, it's a situation where you get that clock out, 1001, 1002, 1003, almost 1004 seconds elapsed, and that's a long time to stay within the pocket and ask your offensive lineman to.
On the offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. We're going to replay 1st down.
So that'll pull the 6 off the board there, Corey.
Yeah, that's a long time to ask your offensive line to keep the defenders off of the quarterback. And a good job by the wide receiver of getting open, and that was Paul Jackson III. And he's the 5'11", 165-pound junior with what could have been a touchdown, but it's going to back the Wolfpack up to close to the 22-yard line of the Williamson Lions.
Play clock under 5 seconds. Walker basically taking his time. Officials actually wants to start the play clock now. There we are. So first and goal, so technically it's first and 22. And Jalen Whitsitt is tackled for a loss. Pushed back by that Williamson defensive line.
You look at where the blitz came from Demetrius Hinge. Again, the Crichton Optimist Club award winner came hard on that blitz and was untouched and able to disrupt it. And now they're just waiting for the play clock to be set and started running, as the game clock already is.
Right.
Looks like they will probably get right to 4th down before it will be a turnover on downs, because we are in a goal line situation for the Vigor Wolves, even though the football is on the 25-yard line.
That's right, right. It's second and goal, technically second and 25. And he's got Jackson over the middle, but that ball intercepted by Williamson, trying to bring it back, but brought down. So on the interception for the Williamson Lions, big interception right there at the ball game. Keenan Young, 47 seconds remain. Williamson not giving up hope, Corey.
His third interception of the game, and Kyle Walker looking to the end zone, trying to find Mr. Jackson III, and he runs to the numbers. Instead of running to the numbers, he cuts to the middle of the field, and I know that's something that coaches teach. Run to the numbers, because that's where, when there's a turnover, the defenders are trying to get to create that wall, but instead he cuts against the grain and keeps the Vigor Wolves off of the scoreboard. And 13-0 our score with 47 seconds remaining. The Williamson Lions are going to have to go down the field vertically and hopefully not throw an interception right here with 47 seconds, which would allow the Vigor Wolves to take a knee.
76 yards away, little dump screen right there to JaQuinton Shaw. No timeouts. He stays in bounds. Coaching staff for Williamson saying, we needed you to get out of bounds, son. Get out of bounds.
And that's just a learning lesson, to where when you don't have any timeouts remaining, you have to get to those sidelines and get out of bounds. And that looks like it is definitely going to be our last play of the contest.
Clock continues to tick. I think it's coming up right here at 20 seconds. And technically, Williamson wouldn't even have to snap it, because the play clock is in front of the game clock. So Vigor's going to come out of here with a win tonight, finish their regular season at 9-1. One blemish on the season there for the Vigor Wolves, losing in overtime last week to Opelika. And Williamson will wrap up at 6-4. But I would say overall a good and great year for both of these teams, Corey. But tonight Vigor gets the win 13-0 over Williamson.
Yeah, I agree. If you look at where the score was at 13-0, Vigor tried to punch one in late, and Williamson bowed up defensively and stopped them from doing so.
Right.
We had an opportunity to be tied in this game, and Vigor did a wonderful job holding off the Williamson Lions at the 1-yard line.
Sure did.
And at halftime, you look at Vigor only had 41 total yards of offense. Williamson had 110. So Coach Sumter was very pleased with that. Defensively, I know Coach Derek Scott's going to be he's going to be extremely pleased with the way his defense played. Offensively,
great.
They have to get into the playoffs, because now, as you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, you're in a one-and-done situation to where every mistake that you can make will be magnified. You don't have a chance to go back and correct it the next week. So they will host a game. The Vigor Wolves will next week at Pritchard Stadium. We know the Williamson Lions will be traveling on the road, but it'll be interesting to see how the playoffs fall themselves out.
Just don't know where they will be going, possibly as a 3 or a 4 seed, with Williamson and Vigor winning the region third year in a row, and they will get to host a game. As Coach Derek Scott said at the beginning of the season, they want to go deeper and deeper into the playoffs. Speaking of Coach Scott, Kimberly Dunn is with them right now down on the field.
Coach, congratulations on the win. What does this win mean to you and your team?
It's finishing out a season that we've started off with a lot of expectations, so it comes out and finishes that off for us.
Yeah, so in preparation for now the playoff season, what are some things that you're going to work with your team on?
Everything.
Everything. Is there anything specific that you want to fix, that maybe some mistakes that y'all made tonight?
No, it's all give credit to Williamson and their coaching staff, Coach Sumter and his guys. It's all about what they did.
All right, well, congratulations on the win, Coach. I hope you get to feeling better.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly, down there with Coach Derek Scott as he gets the win. He's holding it close to the vest, but it is the second season now for Vigor.
Yeah, he's happy that he got the win, even though it doesn't look like it right there, folks. But at the same time, anytime you can get a win, you have to be happy about it. You go into the playoffs. You don't limp into the playoffs. You try to use this as a learning tool. And what Vigor had to do, they had to control both lines of the scrimmage. They were able to do that a little bit in the first and second halves. They had to eliminate mental mistakes. They weren't able to do that, and they needed to stay healthy, so hopefully they were able to do that. And Williamson, they played with a lot of confidence tonight, and you have to have – they're a scrappy bunch, Al.
All right, for Corley Bounty down on the sidelines, Kimberly Dunn, our executive producer, Quentin Howard, I'm Al Wheaton, thanking you for joining us tonight, but also most importantly for joining us all year. You've been watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Vigor wraps it up for us. They get the win 13-0. Have a great evening.